Hello guys, my name is Alex and welcome back to the series where we try to drive as fast as possible in the Williams. And here we are for the 10th round in Italy. You can see we are just 3 points behind the leader and it's very close heading into the last few races of the season. And so far it's been really up and down, some good races, some bad races, and yeah, as you can see, there are just 3 rounds left, so it's crucial that we push as much as possible in order maybe to fight for the win. And coming into this round, I was not completely sure how good our pace will be because, as always, the McLarens will be really quick around here because of the long straights. And as you can see, we are starting quite far back again, which is a bit unlucky, but part of the series. As always, we don't know where we start. It's basically a guess, and we try to drive, yeah, we try to get as far up as possible in the early stages and defend in the later parts. And here we are on the grid. We are in 19th place. We have 5 red lights, and it's lights out, and away we go. We get a really strong launch off the line. We are already past the first car, and now we are heading for the right, searching for a little bit of space, and we are braking late, making up a lot of places already up into P10. And now it's important to get a lot of traction, which we managed to do. We got blocked a little bit from the car ahead, who is one of our teammates. We are already in P10. We have one of the McLarens behind us, so we have to overtake these guys in order to create a buffer. But we have to be very careful. We're going side by side through the chicane, but we managed it quite nicely up into P9 now. Next up is an older McLaren, so we should get past quite easily. Especially our traction should be a lot better compared to his. And we are closing a little bit, but not too much. Let's see if we're able to make a move into the next corner. He goes a little bit defensive, so there's not much we can do except be patient and wait. And he does a little bit of a mistake, which allows us to get past. And now we are right behind the next old McLaren, and we are gaining in the slipstream. You can see the difference in speed is quite a lot, and we were able to find the racing line after overtaking, which is ideal. And up into P7 after one lap, I think there are worse starts, and you can see they are nearly 3 wide on the straight, which is very insane and very dangerous also. And of course it also helps us to get closer, and we get a lot of traction here as it seems. And we are looking now for the right, past another McLaren and right behind another one of our teammates, and P6, which is very good. And they are going side by side through the chicane, which you don't really want to do because you're losing a lot of time there. And we are already over the back of another Williams. We are going around the outside and make the move stick. And next up is one of our teammates, so we have to push in order to get closer to him. But as you can see, he's quite quick. Maybe my setup was not ideal, and you can see we are not really closing that much, which means we have to push a lot harder in order to catch him, because at this stage of the championship every point matters. And yeah, in lap 3 we are now right behind slower Williams, and we are closing and closing on the straight. Let's see, are we able to make any kind of impression? We are looking for the inside. It's side by side through Ascari, which is a bit risky, but we were able to make the move stick, and we are now in P4 right behind, as I said, our teammates. And he looks quite strong, so we have to push a lot in order to catch him. And I think we should have enough laps to do so. And yeah, we also have to see how good the speed of the McLarens are. As I said earlier, they might be very quick due to the long straights. And you can see already one of the McLarens is now right behind us, Schiffer, who is also fighting in the championship. So it will be a very interesting race. And now it's about getting closer to our teammate ahead and fight against the McLaren behind us at the same time, which is very difficult. You can see he's closing quite a lot, but it seems that our top end speed is quite strong, which helps us to stay ahead, which is good. And we're not losing too much time. You can see the gap is around 1.2 seconds to our teammates, and it's really hard to really get a bit closer. You can see he's closing on another car, so maybe that might slow him down a bit, but you can see just how quick the McLaren is. He's in our slipstream, and it will be very difficult to keep him behind us, I think. And you can see he was able to make the move on one of the Ferraris, so maybe we can use that to our advantage and close on him. And at lap 7 or onto lap 8 we do so. We are side by side on the straight, and our top end speed helps us with the really low wing settings. We're braking late. He looks for the inside, he dives quite aggressively, but at the end we were able to make the move stick, although we again lost time to our teammate, and you can see the gap is 2 seconds and we were just around 2 or 3 tenths quicker. But at some point I think I really started to push as much as possible, and the McLaren behind me did the same. You can see he's looking for the right and he locks up. We are braking late around the outside, and now we have the racing line and we were able to make the move stick. But as you can see, we are not allowed to fight too much because we are losing time compared to our teammates. And now we are already into the last lap, and I will leave you with the lap, and then you will see if we are able to challenge our teammate or if we maybe lose our position, and I will talk to you after the lap.
Excess fuel. We'll be back on target soon. Don't wait too long to turn the engine down.
So here we are at the end of the lap, and you can see we pushed as much as possible. We are really close, and into the last corner we brake really late on the inside, and we were able to make the position stick up into P2. You can see Michalski was able to win the race, but that doesn't matter too much for us because we are going over the line in P2, which should hopefully get us further up the grid in the drivers table. And here you can see the final results. Michalski, as I said, was able to win the race. Our female teammate Marie was able to finish third ahead of Schiffer. And in terms of the drivers table, that means we are actually leading now by 3 points heading into the last 2 rounds. So everything is looking very close and very interesting. And yeah, we have a chance to win the title, which would be amazing considering the cars are so much quicker than ours. And yeah, now let's see the second to last round in Japan, a track which actually could suit our car because there's more downforce required in order to be good. And let's see where we start.
I know what you can do. Don't let me down.
You can see we are again very far down. I think somewhere in the mid pack, maybe a bit further back, which is not ideal. We need a bit of luck in this point of the season. You can see here's our setup. It's basically just a time trial setup with slight changes, and you can see again we are starting outside the top 10. We have fighter bright lights and it's lights out and away we go, and we get a decent launch off the line. We are already able to make the first position stick, heading now to the left, but there was not really too much space, and now we try to go around the outside, but it's not really working. and you can see there's a bit of squeezing ahead, and maybe we can find a few positions here. It might be difficult because most of the corners are single line, but we were able to make a position stick, which is great, but again we have to gain more positions in order to stay ahead in the championship, because I think a few of the McLarens are well far ahead. I think they started around 4th, 5th or 6th, and yeah, that's not ideal for us. We need to get as close as possible to them, and we are already alongside another McLaren, and we are up into P10 now, which is a decent start. As I said, it's difficult to overtake here, so it's quite unfortunate that we have such a bad track position, and we're now heading for the straight and for 130R, and you can see they are going side by side, which is very dangerous. We back off slightly because we don't really want any kind of damage, because this would definitely lose our championship or make a huge bend. And we were already in P9 after making the move. Next up is a McLaren who should be a lot slower as always, and if we don't get him on the straight, we might get him in the next few corners, because his downforce is not as good as ours is, as you might expect. And let's see, are we able to get closer in this part? You can see just how slow he is in this part, and maybe we can find a different line again like we did the last time. You can see we are trying and go for it. We are on the inside, there's a bit of contact, he turns in on us, which is quite aggressive, but yeah, at the end we were able to make the move stick up into P8. Next up are I think a Ferrari and another McLaren, and we get a lot of traction out of the spoon corner, and we are now nearly side by side, but his top end is a bit better, which might be due to his better wing settings, and they are going side by side through 130R, and yeah, it's really close. Again, we're looking for the right, but there's a yellow flag. Someone has some kind of problem, as it seems, and we're just trying to find a good cutback line, and we do so. Again, we are side by side, but he gets, unfortunately, the slipstream and goes alongside and past, and we're now looking for a similar move. It's very dangerous into turn 1 to be that close to another car, and you can see there was a bit of contact between those two, and we were able to gain both positions, which is incredible and very lucky for us, up into P6. And next up is another Ferrari, I think, and ahead are just the McLarens, and you can see their pace is just something else. They are a few seconds quicker, which is not ideal, and which will most likely make the championship very difficult or very hard to achieve for us, but we have to see how it goes. We are in lap 5 now, behind the Ferraris. You can see our straight line speed is not ideal, as we noticed earlier, but especially in the corners we should be very strong. And we are gaining a lot in this part of the track, especially in sector 1. I noticed our front end was much better, and we had much more turn in compared to those guys, and we nearly closed a second on them in this part of the track, running a bit wide, which is not ideal, but it also might be due to a bit of dirty air. And let's see if we're able to make some kind of move into the spoon corner, not the spoon corner, the hairpin, sorry. And we are braking late, diving down the inside, and we were able to make the move stick, and we get a lot of traction, and maybe if we push a lot we might get the other Ferrari on the next straight, which would be ideal because it loses us as least time as possible, which is very important. And let's see how good our exit is. It's not ideal. The Ferrari gets a little bit more traction, and we have the slipstream. We are closing and closing, but it's not quite enough. We take a little bit of more speed and braking late. There's a bit of contact, and we are searching the different line, and it's a cool scrap at this point of the race. And yeah, we are losing a lot of time, which is not ideal, and we don't really get past or too close into turn 1. And again, we have to wait. Maybe we can do something in the next few corners, and I think this might be the only opportunity, and the hairpin. Those are the two regions where we are much quicker, but at the A or at the rest of the track, it's basically a tie between both cars. And let's see, we stay close, and we might go for a similar move. And let's see, we are closing and closing. Oh yeah, wings work especially good in this part. And we are heading for the outside, but I think this might be not the ideal position. We are now looking for the left. He locks up a bit, and at the end we were able to make the move stick up into P4, but unfortunately, as you can see, the McLarens are ahead, all three of them, and they are just much quicker, so there's no way we can catch them. And here you will see my fastest lap of the race. I hope you guys enjoy it, and I will talk to you after the lap.
The gap to the car ahead is 20.2 seconds.
So here we are at the end of the race. This was lap 13, and we crossed the line in P4, which is not too bad considering where we started, but obviously it's not good to lose a lot of points to all our rivals, and this closes the championship even more since we were the leader in the last round. And now you can see it's just 6 points between the top 3 and 16 points between the top 4, so basically everyone can still win this championship heading into the last round. And those were the 2 episodes for today. I hope you guys enjoyed them, and I hope to see you in the next one as well. Goodbye.